one of the biggest issues is those insurance audits. Everybody's waiting for them, terrified how much they're going to have to pay extra for it. And I'm always helping with all the reporting for those audits. And I just remember thinking, I can't believe this is the process that you have to go through instead of just paying what you're actually supposed to every time. Hello, everybody. Today, we are talking about simplifying payroll and workers' compensation for construction industry. And we are having a chat with experts from ADP. Welcome, guys. So excited to have you to share the information with our viewers about how payroll is not going to be very complex for them anymore. Some useful tips and advices, but let's start with just briefly introduce yourself, please, and the company and what you guys do.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. My name is Paul Cerrito. I've been with the company for around 4 years. I'm a sales executive here, so I run a team of ADP representatives. I actually worked a little bit of construction before this and owned my own business beforehand, so I'm pretty aware of some of the things that you're dealing with. And then to my right, I'll pass it off.
My name is Joe Aguimares. I am in my first year here at ADP, but I am a district manager here locally in Fort Lauderdale, but work with companies all around the U.S.
All right, great. So we all know how payroll can be very difficult. A lot of my clients struggle at one point or the other, whether they're just starting the payroll and they're unsure where to even begin with that, or I have clients who have had a very bad experience with the payroll services and they are looking for a better solution. So today I wanted to outline some specific problems and issues that they have been having that they reached out to me about. So one of the biggest one that I have heard of is how to make sure that the compliance with the government is on point and construction business owner doesn't have to worry about everything being filed on time, filed correctly. There are no payroll errors. How do you guys help mitigate these issues?
Yeah, I could take that one. So ADP is the largest company in the world at providing payroll and HR services. So when it comes to that, there's like no one safer than us out there. We actually do the IRS's payroll. So when it comes to that, like you don't have to worry about anything of like that sort. We will take care of all your quarterly and end of the year taxes. We also, there's this place inside our little app or little integration system where you can place, if you ever get a notice from the IRS, you can place it there and we will take care of all the liability, all the documents for you. So when it comes to insurance for your company, there's nothing to worry about. ADP takes on all the liability and for any errors or anything that goes wrong in the process.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. So yeah, because it's been a big issue. I've had several clients that have had payroll companies either not filed or filed with a mistake. They received letters from the government and they have no idea what the government wants from them, what the issue is, what hasn't been filed and needs to be fixed. And when they go to their payroll provider, they might not get any answer or wait for it for a very long time. So this is nice that you guys provide more personalized approach is what I've noticed and I really like. And that kind of brings me to the second question is, we know that a lot of business owners have complex pay structures and fluctuating workforce sizes, you know, between trying to figure out how to enter all the deductions and reimbursements and, you know, different roles for different supervisors and employees, deductions for child support and wage garnishments, you know, all of that can make you feel very overwhelmed and unsure how to enter it all for the system if you're a new client, or how to fix those things and make sure that it all smooth. So how do you guys help provide support with that?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So it's kind of funny because we always boast that we're like a technology company first now, and payroll is only 20% of what we do, but payroll is literally what built this company. So we really specialize in having the best business experience when being onboarded. So you will be awarded an implementation team that is yours for the first 2 months that you're part of ADP, and then you'll go into a service, which you'll have a payroll quarterback that you can call. And what's great is any garnishments, any PTO, anything that you want to add on, earnings and deductions, if you loan out a uniform and then they have to pay you back, we can set that up as a deduction. If you have the child support, we'll set that up for you. And then you know it's getting set up right, and you have a team, someone that you can actually call on email. So you're not calling into 1-800 number, which is great. And then a lot of the times where people are making a lot of the errors is how you're logging in their hours. So what's really cool is we have really robust timekeeping options that have geofencing. So if you have a job site in a specific area, you can have your employee be within that area before they could even clock in. So you're not guessing when they're getting to their job if you're not there personally. And it's a great way to avoid time theft, but also they'll be clocking in for their specific job. So it helps with job costing. So if you're paying one rate for one job and another rate for another job, ADP will recognize where they are and then automatically populate that into our timekeeping service. When you go to process payroll, it'll already be there.
That's what I feel like important for a lot of my clients. They're not sure who to go to when something arises. And it is nice to have that person to reach out to when you're having a problem and you know that that person is gonna reach back out to you and help you solve it. Just gives an extra peace of mind, in my opinion. I also know that you guys are there, you are offering the services of workers' compensation, and that has been a big topic for my guys as well, because workers' compensation can get very pricey. And I know that you are supposed to pay upfront a lot of times with a lot of companies. Plus, one of the biggest issues is those insurance audits. Everybody's waiting for them, terrified how much they're going to have to pay extra for it. And I'm always helping with all the reporting for those audits. And I just remember thinking, I can't believe this is the process that you have to go through instead of just paying what you're actually supposed to every time. So after talking to you guys, I was actually very excited about the process that you have, and I would love for you to share that.
Yeah, well, obviously workers' comp isn't the sexiest thing to talk about, but we will make it fun. So workers' comp is state mandated, first of all. So every broker is going to shop the same policies and the same carriers. Obviously, ADP has access to every single carrier. So we'll be able to find the best plan that fits you. But how do we separate ourselves? It's two ways. One is our pay-by-pay structure. So typically, if you're getting workers' comp as a business owner, what they'll say is, how much salary do you think you're going to dish out throughout the entire year? And then you have to guess. You don't know if you're going to grow, you're going to reduce your workforce. You don't know what's going to happen. You're maybe land a huge contract. But what also it does is it hurts your cash flow. So if I have to turn around and spend $30,000 for my workers' comp premium all in one or maybe quarterly, it hurts me maybe buying that new material I need or new tools that I need for the job. So what we do is every single payroll you process, we take the exact amount out. So as you're processing throughout the year and your salary maybe increases, we take the correct amount. If it decreases, we take the correct amount, which leaves you with an audit of 0 at the end of the year. So, when you're dreading at the end of the year and your workers' comp policy, you're getting audited and they say, oh, you owe an extra $20,000. Like, great, you grew, you owe more money. But again, you're hurting your cash flow issues and not turning around and having to pay the premium for the next year on top of it. So we've reduced that completely. And the second way we help, and this is really neat, is because we have that job costing. Say you hired a construction worker, but then also works in the office for some clerical work. He can clock in those two different ways, and ADP will recognize a few of his hours are in the office and some of his hours are in the field. The in the office hours are way less expensive for workers' comp because it's a little less dangerous in the office, and you'll get charged accordingly. So you'll actually reduce the cost of workers' comp over time as you're having the clerical work versus that construction work. And the only way to do that is to be clocking in your construction and clerical work the correct way through job costing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all very important points. I think a lot of people, when we look at the overhead, and insurance always comes up as one of the most expensive overhead line item. And, a lot of people are encouraged to look for better solutions. And that could be something that we'll be interested in. I also wanted to mention that I really like ADP in the sense of how it integrates with QuickBooks, and that it's very seamless, especially for your accountants or bookkeepers, to make sure that everything is recorded correctly when it comes to taxes, when it comes to net wages, and deliver all that information to your CPAs. CPAs are using that information to file your taxes. Everything is so seamless that it's been fantastic. I do really enjoy working with ADP on that one. I would love to hear a success story. Do you have a success story for me of a construction company? Just like curious to hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm hogging the stage here, but I just recently set up a construction company a few months ago. Our first couple conversations were basically like, he doesn't have a second in the day because he has to do something called certified payroll, which is when you have government contracts. It's very specific and it's very robust. So he mentioned he was spending 3 days out of the week handling the payroll, making sure each code was correct for each job that he was doing. So we had the conversation, got our certified payroll team to integrate within the platform. So when they clock in, the correct job is being coded, and then we'll actually submit the certified payroll on their behalf, reducing the liability as long as the hours were put in correctly. And then he just recently called me. He's like, I can't believe how much time I can save right now just because it's all streamlined versus having to figure it out manually and be so worried that if you're even 5 cents off, they will penalize you, $5 grand, 10 grand over something as little as a payroll error. So it's good to know that ADP will have your back. And he was just like, hey, I could focus on like revenue generating things. I've been trying to grow my business now and get some more contracts, and I'm not worried about being so far into the weeds with something along the lines like payroll.
Yes, saving time for a business owner, that's a big one. They have to concentrate on growing it instead of doing payroll, doing their books. You got to outsource if you want to grow, and you have to have a reliable team in place.
Yeah, they just wear so many hats at the end of the day. And ADP recognized like, hey, we could just do payroll all day, or we can start implementing a lot of the technology that we invested in. The amount of technology that we invested in is more than our closest competitors make as a company. So our commitment to technology is huge. And at the end of the day, all it is to help the business owner with some of the things that we spoke about today.
And even the way you said the integration with QuickBooks, that's just one of our partners. We have over like 2,000 systems that we integrate with. Okay. So whether the company's doing one thing or doing another, we can connect with any of them.
That's a good one to know. If you guys are not using QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks in general, there are a lot of different platforms out there, not even accounting platforms that ADP is syncing with and working with. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and sharing your knowledge, sharing how to make things easier and save time for construction business owners. It was very exciting to talk to you. And if any of you guys in construction want to get in contact with one of them guys, I will leave all of their information below. We have you can reach out to me or reach out to them and get personalized approach. Okay, get somebody who will actually talk to you. You're not going to be on a chat with a new person each time. It will be a person who knows your books or who knows your company, and I feel like that is priceless nowadays, really, with all the big companies out there.
Can we just mention one thing? With Elizabeth, you will get preferred pricing. So make sure that if you do want to reach out to her or us, you contact Elizabeth or let us know this is through Elizabeth, because you'll get premium pricing. So that was the last thing we wanted to add. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, who doesn't love to save money? Thank you guys so much for coming again. And thank you guys for watching. And until next video.